conference now. And with a short prayer to the spiritual master. Om Jnanatimarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Welcome, dear devotees. We are going to start reading from which chapter of Bhagavad Gita? Tell
14
me.
for the last day.
14.
For the last day. Why
Day.
is that?
Tomorrow is Ekadashi.
Tomorrow is Ekadashi. Fantastic. So, desktop number 2, sharing. And what chapter will it be tomorrow? Sukamal
I
Radha.
think it's 15. Yeah.
15? Does it sound familiar?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
We have read that chapter.
We have read the chapter, and when and why?
Karthik, Mataji.
You're talking of the yoga, the Supreme Person.
Yeah,
God, yeah.
about that. Yeah, because there was a Adhik Maas. You remember?
Yeah. For
Adhik Maas, yes,
Adhik
Mataji.
Maas, we did that. Okay. All right. So let me go back to and Simi Mataji. I'm assuming you'll be able to read today, right?
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Okay, so I'm going to go and change the reading order and add Simi Mataji and Priyanka Mataji. How about you?
no, she said
She cannot read, Mataji, she told.
All right, fantastic. I'm not looking at the chat at the moment, so thank you for your help with that. And all right, and who else is there? Suleka. Okay, I have covered. Now this is fantastic because I have.
Mataji, if possible, can you please um, means bigger the font, large.
Make it big. Is it? Is that what you're asking, Mataji?
Sorry, Mataji, I did not hear you.
Do you want me to make the font bigger?
Yeah.
Okay. So all right. So then I needed to add one more name here, right? And which is Simi Mataji to the reading order. Oops, I spelled that wrong. Maybe. Okay, I got it. So you want the font bigger? Okay.
A little bit.
Little bit. Okay. Is it a little bit bigger? More big?
Yeah, thank you, Mataji.
Yes,
No,
Mataji.
it's good.
Okay. So Vinyavali Mataji is not here. Then next comes.
Okay, I'll start then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chapter 14, the three modes of material nature. Text 1. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Again I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. Text 2. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. Sutapa.
Thank you, Mataji. Text 3. The total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata. Text 4. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and I am the seed giving father. Varshana Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. Text 5. Material nature consists of things: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. Text 6. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating and it frees one from the sinful reactions. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating and it frees one from the sinless reactions. Those situated in that mode becomes conditioned by the sense of happiness and knowledge. Hare Krishna. Meera Mataji.
Is she reading on mute?
Okay.
Okay.
Text 6. O sinless one.
Seven.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Text 7. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. Text 8. O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness, born of ignorance, is the delusion of all the embodied living entities. The results of these modes are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. Hare Krishna. I'm not too sure who is after me.
Yeah, it's my turn, Mataji.
Oh,
This is
yes,
Sonia.
Sonia.
Hare Krishna. Text 9. O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion, conditions one to fruitive action, and ignorance, covering one's knowledge, binds one to madness. Text 10. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharata, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. Hare Krishna, Lekha Mataji.
Text 11. The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. Text 12. O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor,
Fruitive.
fruitive,
Fruitive.
fruitive,
Yeah, fruitive.
fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. Hare Krishna. I think after me is Vindhyavali Mataji.
Okay, she's not here.
No, Simi Mataji.
Simi Mataji.
Okay.
Simi Mataji.
Simi
And
Mataji.
Shukharupa Mataji also joined.
Hey, okay, good.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Hare Krishna.
Are you in a position to read? Okay, let Simi read then. We'll check with her later. I don't want to stop the reading.
Text 13. When there is an increase in mode of ignorance, or son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are manifested. When one dies in mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of great sages. Hare Krishna.
Text 15. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. Text 16. The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness.
Vindhamali Mataji, you read next two, then I'll read 17 and 18.
17.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Lord Pranams Mataji. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge. 17?
Yes, Mataji, 17 and 18.
From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance develops foolishness, madness, and illusion. Text 18. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live in the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Hare Krishna, Prabha Mataji.
Yeah. Text 19. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature. Text 20. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Hare Krishna. Varshana Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Text 21. Arjuna inquired, O my dear Lord, by which symptom is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior and how does he transcend the mode of nature? Text 22 to 25. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Mandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion, when they are present or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the mode alone are active, who is situated in the self, regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of coal with an equal eye, who is equal towards the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friends and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. Hare Krishna. Meera Mataji.
Text 26. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Text 27. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, who is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading. And let's get going. So Namazya Mataji is also there. So Karupa Mataji is also there. Good. Reflection time for reflections. Namazya cannot read. Simi Mataji.
Mataji, can you bring take 7 one more time, please?
One more time. You know the consequences of that, right?
Yeah.
You're asking for the verse again. All right, here.
Yes. So Mataji, it's written that the mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. Okay, that part is very easily to be understood. But because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. So, does that mean that unlimited desire? So, if we want something so very means from the heart of bottom of our heart and soul, that so much longings for this thing, so we have to suffer the consequences. That is as a simple.
Is it as
Or
simple?
is there anything else hidden in there?
Yeah, it is. It is that simple. Actually, they say that this world is situated in desire, on desire. Everything that happens in this world is based on desire. High level desires or low level desires, but it's based on desires. And so here they are basically talking about material desires. They're not talking about spiritual desires. You can have unlimited spiritual desires also. This chapter is not talking about that, or this verse is not talking about when a person has got unlimited desires and longings, because a spiritual desire will not take you to mode of passion, right? A spiritual desire will help you transcend this material boundary, right? Take you to a high level. So here they're talking about material desire. Let's take any material desire. Let's take a simple desire or a complicated one.
Yeah, Mataji, I love to travel.
All right. So you love to travel. So what does it say? And because of this, the embody is bound to material fruitive actions, right? So why would you do some action on whose results you are focused, right? Fruitive action means you are focused on the result, fruit, phal, karam phal. How do we tie this to your desire to travel?
Go to pilgrimages of Krishna.
Yes.
No, that is transcendental. No, we are talking about that how can a desire to travel be linked to a material fruitive action? How will that be tied?
It's that You could have planned it with spent a lot of money, and your health maybe got worse if you come back, means if you do a lot of travel.
Yeah. So let's just so here's a desire, right? The desire is to
Yes.
travel, and then to travel you have that is you have to fulfill that desire. So the question is, and Sukomal Radhe Mataji, do you have to say something?
No, I mean, if you have a desire to travel, then you won't think about your health and the money and everything because you will have that, or you will make arrangements to have that.
To
Because
have
your
that, right?
desire to travel is so much, you will make arrangements for money, the expense, and you will see to it that you are in good health for the most part.
Okay. How do I tie that desire to a material fruit of action? Well, Shana Mataji.
Meeting
Thank you so much.
relatives.
Yes, Motherji, to fulfill this desire, she will have to work very hard to attain more money to go. So, to attain more money to go, she will have to work hard, and you see, all possible ways she will try to collect the money. So, that will make her life complicated. You see, she will have to work very hard in a fruitive way.
And she still had to
Hare
work very
Krishna.
hard, focusing on the result. Yes, very well. Thank you. This is how desires get connected. I remember in one of the companies that I worked, I was on the technical side of the business. So usually the meetings that I used to attend would be with the technical people. So they would be talking about what's the latest chip, what's the latest operating system, and how do we develop, what are new software tools and things like that. And then one day, the mandate in the organization was that you all work in a secluded area. One side of the organization doesn't know about the other side. So I think everybody should intermingle, and they should also go and attend other meetings. And as we were kind of like growing up in the hierarchy, it was also emphasized that you just can't do software development in the you cannot do software development in isolation. You have to understand your customers, you have to understand the competition and all that, right? I mean, a fresh person from the college can sit and code without having to worry about competition, right? But as you grow higher in the hierarchy, you have to take care of all those things. So with that in mind, we were invited to go and attend a sales planning call, and I was just shocked at the difference. Kim Asita Vrajeta Kim. He's always asking, how does he talk? How does he talk? Arjun is always asking Krishna, right? How does a person situated in transcendence, how does he walk? How does he talk? And I could see the stark difference between the style of talking, the way the technocrats talk versus the way the salespeople talk. So our, like my big boss would come and talk about latest in technology, latest in chips, and all those kind of things, making software beautiful and all that kind of stuff. Whereas the lead was telling his troops that, do you want a Ferrari? Do you want to go to Hawaii? If you meet your quarterly target, that's the bonus. That's the bonus. So he was just touching on their senses, and like, you want to go and enjoy there, work hard. I mean, for salespeople, the sales job was very hard. If you didn't meet your target for 3 quarters in a row, then you were fired. Simple as that. So they were working on a constantly focusing on the result, constantly. And why? The desire is there to buy that car. The desire is there to go to Hawaii, depending on how much your quota is and how much you want to excel. So whenever there's a desire, it'll always get attached and associated with material work. And it won't be simple work that, I don't care about the results. I do care about the results because I'm going to utilize those results to satisfy my senses. And the whole world is just operating on that, just operating on that. So it starts with one desire, another desire, another desire, another desire, right? It's unending. The chain is unending. And Prabhupada says that to satisfy your desires, is like trying to pour ghee into fire. It will never be satiated. It will never be satiated. It'll keep on asking. Like a fire can, if you give ghee to fire, fire is never extinguished. It keeps on burning, and we keep on putting more ghee, it'll keep on burning. So similarly, when you start to satisfy or fulfill your material desires, then they will just grow. They're very, very strong.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Meera.
So you said, I'm just going back to the example. You said that if they don't meet 3/4 uh, of their target, they are fired. So now, obviously, they are forced to focus. Otherwise, the consequences are they won't have a job. So is it like we are forced to? In this case, they were forced to do it rather than saying, "I have to have this Ferrari." If they have it, it's one thing to have it, but to work to meet the target is so that they don't lose their job. That's a very significant, pretty bad consequence if you don't.
Yes.
So how does that imply to us, like desires? Are we forced to travel for enjoyment, or is it something that consequences are really bad? Do we have to figure it out on our
Yes.
own?
Yes, it's always better to figure it out.
Mm,
And then, when the Ferrari doesn't come to the person who meets the target, the Ferrari goes to the person who beats his target
mm,
very badly, right? Is the
okay.
top performer. So in order to be the top performer, and you don't know how much other persons are earning, so you will keep on earning your sales, increasing your sales because you want to go to the top, right? So now, and then again, whatever that we are, yat karoshi, yat ashnasi, yat juhoshi, dadasi, yat, right? 9.27 in Bhagavad Gita says that whatever you're doing, you do it as an offering to me. So if I go into a sales job and like last 3 months, I've been thinking nothing but money, right? But it is for Krishna, not a single pie goes into my pocket. So you can be doing sales job, you can be selling Bhagavad Gita's Bhagavatam, you can be doing everything and talking about money, but that is not for our sense pleasure. We are not doing it to please ourselves, right? We are doing it to please Krishna because Krishna likes it. Krishna said that who are the most favorite people of Krishna? 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Anybody remember? Krishna qualifies them and says,
Who spread the word of Krishna?
yes, those who spread the word of Krishna are the most dear to me, are dear most to me. He says that, right? So we do that to please Krishna because then Krishna will be happy that I'm spreading his words, no matter what. So that kind of a thinking is a totally different thing, right? And then again, even if you are a salesperson, you happen to be a salesperson because maybe you didn't have all the opportunities to study, educated to get whatever you wanted to, and then so you end up getting a sales job. But then again, a bhakta with Krishna in his mind will not let. So there was a very key word over here, and it says that bound to material. It just didn't say material actions. He did not say a person with desire gets bound to material actions. Right? I have a desire, and to fulfill the desire, I'm doing some material action. No, it said material fruitive actions. Fruitive means when you're focused on the results,
Mm,
and that is where the heart attack comes. The salespeople, right? They are so focused on earning it all the time, thinking of the target, and all the time thinking of the consequences of meeting the target, right? I'll go to Hawaii, I will enjoy, I will have wine in one hand, and like that. So even if you're doing a job, and for that matter any job that you're doing, any job that you do, you give it your best, without burning yourself and without compromising on whatever is the devotional service activities that you're supposed to do according to your ashram, right? So for a grihastha ashram, that kind of duties and the rules for a grihastha are much different from a rule for a brahmachari, right? A brahmachari has to dedicate a large part of his her life and of his day in doing devotional service. Same thing for sannyasis, right? For grihasthas, it's different because grihastha has to, run the household. So they have to spend some time earning money. They have to spend some time, but a grihastha in Krishna consciousness will do it as his duty and then be satisfied with whatever gain he gets from Krishna. And the beauty of
Mataji, oh, sorry.
and the beauty of it
So
all is
this,
that Krishna takes care of his devotees. Majorly, Krishna takes care of his devotees, of the needs of the devotees. And the ones that he loves the most, he takes everything away from them. So, yeah. And somebody was saying something. Was it you?
yeah, Mataji, is there any other factor than the money? Means, suppose if you have
Fame.
some money, then is there any other factor that will also means help you to like if you fulfill your desire? Means we are talking about money. So in
Oh,
Varsana
no,
Mataji,
no, no. You bring in a very valid point. Sometimes I used to look at some of the top shots in some of the big companies. They're multimillionaires. They don't have a need to work.
yes,
And they
Mataji.
don't, then there is the power. The desire is power, the recognition, the power. I'm controlling 100,000 people work for me. That control, they don't want to give it up.
Fame.
Fame. I don't have to say any more on that topic.
Yeah,
Oh, reluctance to give the power.
Oh, yeah.
got it.
No.
But Shraddha Mataji, I just had a question. Going back to Sutapa Mataji's thing about travel, she may want to travel just to see the beauty around wherever she wants to go. And Krishna has created all this, the whole universe, and all the beauty there is also is made by him. So if you do have a desire to travel for those reasons, is it still considered like material fruitive action?
Right. So then we have Atmendriya Priti, Krishnendriya Priti. So why are you going there? For whose enjoyment? Krishna. So I have
No,
read
you are
fine.
going for your enjoyment,
Then it is
but
your
you
enjoyment.
are going to see here the beauty that he has created too, right?
Then it is linked to Krishna, right? So then what one would do is that not go out on an excursion like that, but carry some more so to explain to them the beauty of Krishna. You see, then it is a Krishna
Hmm.
activity. That if you're taking kids from on an excursion, I mean, like, if you're in a school, I remember we used to be taken to this and that place once a year. We used to go, and it was a like much sought after and look forward to event, that school picnic or whatever. And so a teacher who's taking there will then explain and bring in the God's factor if she's allowed to. Now that's the unfortunate situation here, that they cannot even speak of God in this class, but when I was growing up, it was easy, the teachers could talk about God and marvel. Actually, moral science was one of the topics in my school. So you could do that. So as long as you keep on connecting things back to Krishna, then you are safe. If you don't make that connection, then it's very difficult. It's very difficult to stay aloof and say that, I've just went there to enjoy. It's beautiful, so it's harmless. But then one thing leads to another. One sense pleasure leads to another sense pleasure. Then it becomes dangerous. So it's better to, what did we read last time? What was the verse we read?
15. Like most of the sense, in, most of the senses are like situated in the face. So if eye sees, then it's leads one thing leads to another.
Okay, so what was the okay? How many of you
Ranga
are close
Matanga.
to? How many of you
Cool.
are close to a WhatsApp? To your WhatsApp? Are you close to
Yeah,
WhatsApp?
me Mataji.
You are. You are. Then open up WhatsApp and look at your group, and let's bring that document and let's read it.
Mataji, I need that Kuranga Matanga Mataji. That's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kuranga matanga patanga
that's
vringa
what
mai meena hata pancha bhairava pancha eka pramadisha katham na hanyate ye shiva te panchavi eva pancha.
What's the meaning of that?
Kuranga, the deer, by the edges of ears. Matanga, the elephant, by the edges of genitals. Patanga, the moth, by the edges of eyes. Vringa, the bee, by the edge of nose to smell wild flowers. Meena, the fish, driven by the edge of tongue. All meet their end in pursuit of the futile attempts to satisfy one sense. Just see, attachment to just one sense costs someone greatly. What about a person who has five powerful sense organs?
where did it go? I didn't get it.
So, Mataji, yeah, one from one sense, it is related to it. It will be going to another one.
No, it is saying that even if even if you focus on one sense, like these animals, they were just focusing on one.
One
The
sense.
deer was focusing on the sense of hearing music, the elephant on the skin, right? This fish on the eating. Even if look at these animals, they just focused on one sense and they died. What to talk about someone who focuses all the five senses like that, right?
Okay, Mataji, I understood. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if you go, like if you see, you are just enjoying the beauty, maybe the smell of wine or meat, maybe you want to have that. So it
Yeah,
is
if you
like
want,
that in
that
connect.
yeah. So here's the thing that in ISKCON they do not tell you not to enjoy. They don't tell you not to enjoy a good smell. All that they're saying is that if there is good smell, you first offer it to Krishna. You want to enjoy rose smell, then offer all the roses to Krishna and then keep them in your bedroom as prasad. So that when you sleep, you can smell the prasad. But that connection to Krishna has always got to be there because devoid of that connection, just one sense will carry you away. Just one sense.
Thank you, Mataji, for a nice explanation. Thank you so much.
So yeah, that is very important, and we might just innocently do that, right? For the deer, they say that it is the Shastras say that we don't know because Shastras say a lot of things. The Shastras tell us that the fish, when it is swimming, is in lot of pain. We never seem to understand that fish are undergoing pain, right? We just see that. And so the Shastras are in a lot of pain. The fish is in a lot of pain. The Shastras say for the mringa, for the deer who gets killed, right? So they play nice music, and the deer who normally runs just stops and listening, come with full attention. It is listening to the music that is coming, and when the when the hunter shoots the arrow and it dies, then the not the shastras, but that's a poetical way of saying it, not the shastra, I take back my words. So when the deer is dying, the deer says, okay hunter, just use my skin for making these musical instruments so that the music will continue, like that. So things, you can get carried away so far that you are dead because of that, but still you want to give whatever you have back to that same cause. Let's make more music. I'm dying, but you use my skin for making, mridangam or whatever. Use like that. Yeah, so it is a dangerous situation. Padam padam yat vipadam natesham. Krishna says that, right? And on that thought, let's go to the next verse because it's a very nice connection to what we did yesterday, day before yesterday. And let's just do 58 also so that you have the connection with 58. Okay. Whose turn is it to read now?
Hi, Mataji.
All right. So let me share the screen. Go ahead.
Yada samparvati chayam om no nivasarvashaha in indriyani तद्धेयस्त्तस्य प्रञ्जना प्रतिष्ठिताः
This is Gyan, Pragya.
प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिताः.
Okay. Translation.
So they come up.
Translation: one who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects, as the tortoise withdraws its limbs within the shell, is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness.
Right. So what this verse was saying basically was that you learn and you practice how to withdraw your senses, because if you don't learn to withdraw your senses, then you will be one of those. The Kuranga Matanga Patanga Bhinga Mira, right? One of those five, like that. So saying, don't do that. Now let's look at the next verse. Okay, keep this thing in mind, the instruction from Krishna. All right, whose turn is it now?
Hare Krishna Mataji, it's my turn.
Okay, go ahead, Mataji.
Visaya vinivartanente nirharasya dehina rasavrajam rasopayo asya haram tristva nivartate.
Nivartate. Okay, very nice. Okay, next one.
Should I do Mataji?
I think who's next to you?
Shukarupa Mataji. No.
I don't think she's in a reading position. She's listening.
Okay,
I can
Vrindavan
read
Mataji.
Mataji.
Oh, you can? Ooh, okay, very good. Go ahead.
So translation,
Synonyms.
synonyms. Vishaya, object of sense enjoyment. Vinivartante are practiced to be refrained from. Niraharasya, by negative restriction. Dehinam, for the embodied. Rasa, aversion, giving up the taste. Rasa, sense of enjoyment. Api, although there is. Asya, his. Param, far superior thing. Drishtava, by experiencing. Nivartate, he ceases from. Translation. Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for the sense object remains. But ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness.
Okay, so we'll wait here and take the synonyms here. Okay, so get ready for the round. What is the meaning of drishtva?
By experiencing.
Okay, but what does drishti mean in general?
Vision. Vision.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. What is the sense of enjoyment called in Sanskrit?
Vishaya.
Vishayaha.
Vishya.
Sense enjoyment. Sense of enjoyment.
Rasaha.
Vishya.
Rasaha.
Vishaya.
Yes,
Rasaha.
Rasaha. Rasaha is the sense of enjoyment. And what does the sense of enjoyment enjoy? It has to enjoy something. So that is called the object of sense enjoyment. What is the object of sense enjoyment?
Vishaya.
Vishya.
Yeah, right? So
Vishayaha.
yeah, so rasaha will have a vishayaha, right? For example, the enjoyment of looking at something beautiful will have the object as some sort of a form. It could be a beautiful flower, a mountain, a lake, a sea, right? Like that, a sculpture, human beings, like that. Okay, what is the meaning of stopping something in Sanskrit? What is the Sanskrit for? To stop something.
Nivartate.
Nivartate.
Nivartante.
Is it nivartante?
Nivartate.
No.
Nivartate.
Yeah, yeah.
Nivartate.
Right. Okay.
Vinivartante.
Yeah. And if somebody has practiced it, somebody has practiced being nivartate, what is that called? What is the process when you're practicing it?
Vartante.
Yeah. So here it is vinivartante, right? And here the other one was nivartate. So keep this in mind. Nivartate means to stop. And then if you're a practice, to be something has to be practiced, that I have to refrain from this thing, then it's called vinivartante, right? Okay. And then what is the don'ts, right? We talk about don'ts. What are the don'ts in ISKCON?
Nirahashya.
No.
Rasavarjam.
No. No, listen. What are the don'ts in ISKCON? That was the question.
That four regulative principles. No meat eating, no. Those four things, right?
See,
No
yeah,
gambling.
No tea or
Visarjan.
coffee, no onion and garlic.
yeah. So there's
No
so
gambling. No
No
illicit sex.
intoxication,
Rasavarjam.
no illicit sex.
Right. So there are so many restrictions. No. Okay. And now tell me that what is that? What are those
Rasavarjam.
negative rasavarjan? What is that?
Giving up the
Restriction.
taste.
What is the restriction? What are those restrictions?
Niharasya.
Niraharasya. Ahar means?
Niharasya.
Ahar means what?
Bhojan.
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 Right? It's not just, okay, so what is bhojan for the eyes? Well, you say feast for the eyes. This is so nice, this is feast for the eyes. What is the meaning of feast for the eyes? This means
Whatever
eyes
you're
also need,
enjoying.
right?
Look at the beauty.
Isn't it?
You are enjoying the beauty or something with the eyes.
Yeah, right? So keep this in mind. So ahar is used in many different meanings. It's not just popping food into the mouth. Niraharas. Nirahar means no, don't. Nirahar. Restrictions. Okay? All right. Now whose turn is it to read the purport?
Bindavali Mataji, I guess.
All right. Indyavali Mataji, give us the purport, please.
Purport. Unless one is transcendently situated, it is not possible to cease from sense enjoyment. The process of restriction from sense enjoyment by rules and regulations is something like restricting a diseased person from certain type of eatables. The patient, however, neither likes such restrictions nor loses his taste for eatables. Similarly, sense restriction by some spiritual process like Ashtanga Yoga in the matter of yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, etc., is recommended for less intelligent persons who have no better knowledge. But one who has tasted the beauty of the Supreme Lord Krishna in the course of his advancement in Krishna consciousness no longer has a taste for dead material things. Therefore, restrictions are there for the less intelligent neophyte in the spiritual advancement of life, but such restrictions are only good until one actually has a taste for Krishna consciousness. When one is actually Krishna conscious, he automatically loses his taste for pale things. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So I'd like to, take you back a little bit in chapter number 2. And, this was from a long time ago, and that's why I'm bringing this up again. And this is verse number 54 in this book, where Arjuna is asking that, so even before that, so Krishna is talking about, devotional service. A man engaged in devotional service gets rid of both good and bad reactions in this life. You should strive for yoga. And then, when you do devotional service, then you free yourself from the results of work. So no karma bandhan won't be there because you're doing things for Krishna. And I said, well, your intelligence gets purified, then you will become indifferent to all what is being heard, means whatever is spoken in the Vedas, as beautifully heavenly planets and all that. You don't want to go there. You want to go back to Golok Vrindavan, right? So he's telling all that. And so now Arjuna is asking, oh Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence?
How does he speak?
What is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk? Right? So he's asking that question. Now, I'll take you back to the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And so what's happening in the first chapter?
Arjuna is bewildered and he's talking about why he can't fight because he sees his elders, his relatives, and his teachers, and he cannot fight and kill them because
Right.
they
Very
have
good.
given him so much knowledge. And
Yes. So, yes, very right. Thank you so much, Madhuri. So, so Arjuna is hell bent on not fighting, right? So here also, when we come to this particular verse, he's asking Krishna, Krishna, how does he sit? How does he talk? What does he do? If this person is like that, how does he walk? Does he walk like a Kshatriya or he walks like a Brahmana? He's there, just like any indication that Krishna says this, and he said, I will not fight. Okay, got you over there. So he's constantly asking like that. How does he sit? How does he walk? Right? So then Krishna is telling him, he's answering those questions, how does he walk? What does he read? What does he speak? Now he hasn't spoken here. In these verses that we read, he's not talked about, how does he speak like that? Like he speaks English or he speaks Sanskrit only and things like that. He's not talking like that, but he will just talk about like, in this material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it. So here is how you talk, in a neutral manner. This is where it is telling it, right? Now here, in how is he situated, right? How does he sit? Sit is from, it's not just how does he sit. Does he sit with his back erect? Does he sit on a table? Does he sit on the floor? He's not asking about that. Sit really is coming from how is he situated in this world. And now the answer is coming in the verse that we did last time, and which was that one who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects as the tortoise draws its limb within the shell is firmly fixed in perfect consciousness. So Krishna says, you just withdraw your senses. Now, Sukomal Radhi Mataji said, oh, then I have to withdraw my senses. I can't even enjoy the beauty, right? So this was a question that when Prabhupada was in Hawaii and with his disciples, obviously he had not gone to Hawaii for the reasons that other people go to Hawaii. He had gone there to spread Krishna consciousness. And there was a beautiful ocean And the boys around him, they all said that okay, Prabhupada, will it be wrong if we go inside to such a beautiful ocean? Will it be wrong? And then Prabhupada said, no. If you think of it as an energy of Krishna, right? He says, Bhuma Apo Analo Vayu Kam Mano Buddhirevacha, right? So he talks about that these are my 5 energies. So if you look at that energy, then it's okay. And then everybody jumped into the ocean, including Srila Prabhupada also. So it's not that we don't touch material energy. And so in this particular verse, which is verse number 58, this verse is actually talking about that you should be able to withdraw your senses. And we saw the reasons for that. And today's verse also said that these restrictions are there for the neophytes, right? You read that just now. They are for the neophytes. Now these restrictions that they're saying that like a tortoise, you withdraw his limbs. And why? And we read that kuranga matanga, bringa amina bringa, that verse we read. We now know that indulging and allowing our senses to indulge is only going to mean death for us in one way or the other, right? It could be death of the physical body, or it could be death of our devotional service, like that. So here he's talking about that one, he's able to withdraw the senses, right? So he gave you the strategy. This is the strategy. Now you always want to know the strategy, because this is a war that we are fighting against Maya, right? So this is a war. So what do I do in this war? So first thing that I have to know when I'm fighting a war is about my enemies, right? That's the first thing. In the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Drishtva tu Panduvanikam Vyunam Duryodhanastada Acharya Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abraveet. So it says in the opening verses of Bhagavad Gita, it says that Duryodhan, went and looked at the military formation, the phalanx of the army. He looked at that. Okay, that is, that there is Arjuna, and there is Krishna, and all that. He's looking at all of them, how they have arranged the military phalanx. So we always have to understand how our enemy are arranged. And we discussed that last time. How is our enemy arranged? Who are our enemies first, first and foremost? And we had read about serpents. Remember? Day before yesterday, we equated something to serpents. What was that?
Senses are like serpents, Mataji.
Yes, the senses are like serpents. So, and is the serpent our friend?
No.
Are snakes a friend? No, right? So, so it is your senses. Yeah? So it's your senses which are your enemy. So your senses are like enemies, and then your senses will go and, so what you have to see is, first and foremost, look at the military arrangement. Look at the phalanx of the senses. How are the senses in your body? How are they arranged?
All in the face.
All in one close proximity, right? So number one, they're in close proximity, and then second is all all encompassing. The skin is all over your body. The mind is not only inside you, the mind can travel anywhere. Anywhere that you want, the mind can travel very fast, right? Manorathena sati dhavato bahi. You sit on the chariot of your mind and it will take you to places very nicely, here and there, everywhere, right? You have to understand. You have to understand the strategy. So strategy is, okay, here is where all the senses are.
Beats the intelligence also.
Where is the sound coming?
Varshana Mataji.
Okay. Yeah. Varshana Mataji, we're not able to hear you.
Did you say?
Yeah, we're not able to hear you. If you're saying something. We lost her now. Yeah, I think she's having some connection problem. Anyway, she'll join back. Yeah, so so we have to first understand the situation, the strategic, and yeah, we have to strategize. So they said, hey, look here, these are the senses, they're all concentrated in one location. So what you should do, you should learn to withdraw all of them. And then Krishna gave the perfect example of a tortoise who withdraws its face inside, right? And then all these karmendra also, it withdraws and puts them inside a shell. So our shell, our protective shell, is the devotional service that we have, right? But here, what Krishna is saying in this particular verse, what he's saying is he's actually pointing out to you that there is a flaw in that strategy that we have given you. The strategy was that you withdraw your senses. Now, here in this verse, today's verse, they are saying that even if you withdraw your senses, even if I withdraw my senses, the taste will still remain. Even if they are negative injunctions, you might not do it because there is a spiritual master sitting on your head telling you not to do things, or parents or friends or whatever, right? But that desire is still there. And that takes us back to the question that you asked Sutapa Mataji about desires, right? So desire still remains. And so now the thing is that, if the desires are still remaining, then how do I get over it? How do I overcome that part? Because even if I withdraw into a shell, even if I become a tortoise, and I can be a tortoise sitting inside, but I could be thinking anything that I want to think and desiring anything that I want to desire. So I could be doing a fast on Ekadashi and thinking about food. So, so what's the fun in doing that, right? So Krishna immediately points out, and so look at the beauty of how he's, explaining, giving the examples, and then giving him the, the loopholes which is there, and don't fall into that loophole. And he's saying that, why, what, don't do that, right? What you have to do is, well, I have a lower taste, right? My lower taste is doing things materials. Because of the lower taste, I get agitated. If you stop me from enjoying, I get agitated, right? The kids, teenagers, you tell them not to go out, the sense gratification is stopped, they get angry, they sulk, they sit in the room and won't talk to you for days altogether if you do that, right? So similarly for ourselves also. So there is there's that lower taste that we have that oppresses us so much. And what Krishna is here saying is that, okay, he gives you, he says Vishya vinivartante nirharasya dehina, right? So when you are dehina, when the soul is embodied, then at that time, even trying to withdraw your senses is not going to, bring you any peace, because the taste still remains. But then in the next two lines, he tells you, right? Rasavarjam rasupyasya param drishtva nivartate. But then when you get a higher taste, and drishtva, right? Drishtva, Prabhupada is not saying just seeing, the drishtva is not just seeing as we understand drishtva, is to when you sense, when you understand. For example, I many days ago, I was talking about the different kind of seeing that happens. And I was talking not only about seeing from the eyes that you see, but I was also thinking that, I was also explaining that when you understand something, right? When you understand something, then you also say that I see. Yeah, I see. What are you seeing? Nothing. So your ears can also see, in that sense that you hear somebody explain, and then when you get it, you say, I see. Or from the inner eye, I'm able to see, and things like that. Or the intellect is able to see, like that. So param drishtva nivartate. So when you get a higher taste, so the higher thing, what is higher than material, is the spiritual energy. So he's saying that, when it's develop a higher taste, and that higher taste is going to protect you. So that is the real armor underneath which you can withdraw all your senses. So I'm not saying don't go to Hawaii, don't travel. We travel every year to go to Sadhu Sangha to North Carolina. Every year we go there, we enjoy. It is travel. Are you traveling? So this is what we choose. That if you have a desire to travel for book distribution. If you like to drive a car, I mean, there's Vrinda Agarwal Mataji in our group, the corporate book distribution group. She cannot come to classes. She cannot, do to our meetings, etc. But when she bought a car for herself, the first thing she came and said was, "Tell me, Mataji, where can I go and deliver books?" And that's what she has been doing relentlessly, non-stop, all these all these days of the marathon, all the various marathons that we have. So what is she doing? She has a desire. She likes to drive, but she's now connecting that with Krishna conscious activity. So she'll still get the enjoyment of driving a nice car, but she will not have the side effects of that enjoyment, because she's getting that enjoyment. So now she's protecting her desire, and the way we go and achieve the desires by, param drishtva, going to a higher consciousness, like that. So Krishna, it's a very powerful verse that we have today. And I noticed it is Thursday and it is 8 o'clock. So, other team members will start joining the call.
Just 8 o'clock.
So I'll take you leave here today, dear devotees watching us on Facebook as well.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji Hare
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Shraddha Mataji, so much.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much.
So I will just end the,
Hare
yeah,
Krishna.
I'll just stop my screen and I will stop